We were in executive session, just coming out of 8:01. There were two issues, one dealing with personnel, and Chief John Yankovic was present. Second was an incident with the occurred on May 11th, City of Wheeling Water Department. And be a motion coming in regards to this. That's it.
Public comment on non-agenda items.
Gentlemen, I just want to ask for the group for clarification. When you left, Mr. Chairman, the announcement was you were going to talk about potential litigation.
That's the second time it's been
And
asked.
the Wheeling contract was together
Yes.
with potential,
That's-
okay.
Yes.
Anybody else?
No, go ahead.
You first, go. When we had you had the first meeting before this was, and it was extended into tonight, when you came in and started working with the contracts, you made the statement that you were going to have this meeting tonight as you had decided.
We had, me, had several discussions.
The comment was.
Well, I don't know what we said, what I said, but I know that in speaking with Tammy, I expressed to her that we would not be making any decision on the proposals, the bid proposals, because we have to have time to review them. That's standard in any governmental function. You take time. You don't come in and approve something like that big of a contract without reviewing it.
It's not the fact that.
Bob, I'm
you
not gonna
didn't
argue
approve
it. You wanna pick a fight with us, I give you an answer.
But the answer you gave me didn't go with the question I asked. That's my problem. My
That's your only
question
problem.
again was,
You got the answer I'm gonna give you. That's all I'm telling you.
okay, well, it doesn't match the
That's fine.
question.
That's the answer. And Tammy can confirm, we talked about it. That, in fact, we're not gonna award the bid. When we put the agenda
Dave was the
together.
one that said it to you.
It doesn't make any, we don't
I made
make,
a suggestion, I didn't say we was going to extend the meeting, I told
There was no
Ed
decision made.
As
There
we
was no
decided
decision made,
was
Bob.
what you
there was no
said.
decision made until that meeting.
At the end of the meeting, we decided to
That's when it
continue.
was decided.
You
You
made
sat
the
right there and watched it.
You made the decision, you
Okay.
said, this is the way it is.
Move on.
JD?
So, go ahead.
Anybody else first?
I have a question. I'm just asking, you had mentioned that you were giving up a lease or discontinuing a lease, Mr. Ely, I'm speaking of. You wanted to give up a lease with the township to store things?
That was at the last meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the meeting that we just had. I was just wondering, how do you get those leases? Can anybody sign up? to get-
Absolutely. You want one?
I don't know, that's why I'm just asking.
Then
you
give the township right to park equipment on your property, pile stone on your property,
Do you get money for
huge
that?
piles of money. How much, Dave?
0.
Yeah, okay, I was just asking.
You want a lease?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll sign
That's
you
why
up.
I'm asking.
Tell that man back there, he can probably pile some stone down there.
That's why I was asking.
That's what it is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
alright.
I don't know, but the drawing, is that where you're putting the building?
That's a good
It's
question,
off,
Betty.
off to the side.
Betty, didn't you want to ask him about that correspondence too from the attorney?
Yeah, she's gonna get that for me, because I wanted to look at one of the pieces of mail.
Well, that supervisor know what it's, since she didn't know what it pertained to.
The peacock letter, the peacock color,
I think that is
That
the,
piece of property, I wanted to see the
Yes,
letter.
yeah.
She was gonna get it
There's
after.
correspondence, I told
Yeah.
her they were back there to get it for.
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that, I think has to do with a, piece of property that's going into foreclosure.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I have property on 40, I'm sure it's not mine.
Well, no, your name wasn't on there.
That's why I wanna look.
No, you're clear.
I know, I wanna look at it, thank you.
JD?
Because it's continuation of the meeting, so it's,
Yeah,
she doesn't.
yeah.
Couple things. What, you guys want to discuss potential litigation too, but you didn't have a solicitor. Shouldn't you have a solicitor for discussing potential litigation?
You tell us.
I'm asking you, I'm not telling you.
What do you think?
Huh? I think it'd be a good idea if you're, discussing potential litigation, that you ought to do that with the solicitor, just questioning. A couple things, I'd like to know your, I don't know if your reasoning, logic, guidelines, qualifications, specifications, whatever, on choosing who to appoint to the planning commission. When your reasoning the other night at the meeting, when somebody asked about the other candidates, you had 4 interested parties or 4 applicants, is that correct? There was yourself, Mike Smith, Eddie Shingle, and Jeff Dittler, is that correct?
Let me interrupt you for a minute, JD. Do you know what we're under right now?
What do you mean?
It's public comment. It's not question and answer. Okay, if you have a comment, comment it.
Okay, I can do that, I
It's
was
not-
giving you,
It's not question and answer.
that's fine, but
We
that's,
answered that question the last meeting.
That's
So you-
actually-
yeah. Go ahead. You make your comment, go ahead.
no, that's fine, I'll put in a
I'm
comment
okay with
for him, I was giving you the courtesy of,
My answer's not changed since
you
the
know,
last meeting.
back
Go
and
ahead.
forth, that's how you communicate in a small town with the residents, and instead of shutting them out and being ignorant and treating them rudely, then you carry on conversation, that's how you resolve things, instead of
I
just.
agree, but that gate swings both ways.
Yeah, well, I am being courteous and I am trying to be professional.
Okay.
What my comment would be then, what your statement was, when somebody asked why you chose that or how you came to your decision, and why you didn't consider the other applicants, you said because they are candidates for another position in the township right now, for supervisor, and you didn't think it was appropriate, or you didn't think it was right. But yet, you think it's okay, you have another planning commission board member here, who's the chairman of the planning commission, who is also a candidate for supervisor, and you're fine with that, and yourself, you're already a supervisor, and have a full-time job and a lot on your plate, but you're saying your reasoning was the other 2 applicants are candidates for supervisors, and you didn't think it was appropriate. But you think it's appropriate to appoint, you didn't appoint yourself, but you guys voted unanimously to appoint yourself to that position. So that means you'll have 2, if Lee would get on as supervisor, that means you'd have 2 members that are both members of both boards, the supervisor and the planning commission. And you don't see a problem with that. But yet, you have 2 other candidates, Eddie, but you got Mike Smith, who is more qualified than anybody on that board. And I know he's put in his application for the last, what we had, 4 vacancies recently, every time, and he hasn't been considered. And my comment would be, again, you're not doing what's in the best interest of the people and the citizens of Donut Township as a whole. But you're doing what's best for you and your agenda. And that's not what you guys are supposed to do. That's not what your job, your duty, and obligation is. So I would ask how you come to that, and because, to go with Bob's questioning, you guys already had that decided before the meeting. Isn't proper procedure, you should, just like you bid the building, you should have the applicants, the candidates, have their letter of interest, you read them, you discuss it in an open meeting, and then you make a recommendation or nomination and do it. You guys already had your mind made up before the meeting. That's wrong. So when did you discuss it and when did you come to that conclusion, decide who you were gonna appoint? Because you didn't do it during the open meeting. So when was it done? When was it done? Not gonna answer? Okay, then I'll put in a comment for it. You're not gonna answer. You didn't have a problem answering me the other night, Doug, when you interrupted me 3 times very rudely. And I give you the courtesy and I'm asking, I'll tell you when it was done, man. It must have been done at one of these illegal meetings that I've been hearing about. I hear you guys had a meeting upstairs with the candidates and other people, the public. Was that an open public meeting? No?
You telling me you know all about it.
I don't, I wasn't here.
If you're making allegations, you go right at it.
I'm not making allegations, I'm
Go
asking
right
a
at it.
question.
Go right at it.
What I'm getting at is, you guys made up your mind to appoint you and Jeff Dibner. There was no discussion at an open meeting. That's proper procedure.
I come in with my mind made up, JD. I had one person that I was going to vote for. And that was
Okay,
Mr. Dittmer.
okay.
Based
I
on
think
the
that's a good choice.
Based on the conversation that I had with him in this very room at another meeting.
I think that's a good choice.
And I was not going to vote for Mr. Shingle or Mr. Smith to give either of them an unfair advantage against the other one. I wasn't going to.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Okay, that was my line of thinking. You don't want me to, you don't want to hear what I have to say.
No, I
You want-
asked.
I'm
You
telling
didn't
you,
answer.
you
Go
want to
ahead.
hear it.
I do want to hear what you have to say, that's why I asked.
And that, you know what, there's gonna be lots of opportunities to do things that are good for this township for everybody, if they wanna do good. If people wanna do good, the opportunity's gonna be here. If they don't wanna do good, then that opportunity's here too, okay? I know that this community is in a terrible disarray,
I agree.
okay? When, in church on Sunday, the minister stops the sermon and prays about about the township, about this township government. Okay, not once, but more than twice. I get a cell phone text message. It's on my phone right now, if you want to pop up and read it. People want to read my cell phone, okay? From halfway across the world about things that have been going on in this township, from the pastor of the church. Okay, some people think that's okay and right. I've had enough of it. That's not how people should act.
I agree.
It's not how friends and neighbors should act. And Bob's wife said something back a year ago that she hit it right at the nail right on the head, and she was absolutely right. About, we still have to be neighbors and we still have to be friends. But guess what? That's stopped happening. That's wrong. You know, I'm embarrassed on the things that, yeah, and embarrassed by some of you too. Embarrassed for you. You know, I've spent a lot of years working in this township, for this township, as others in this room have, such as Mr. McAdoo, who's gave and gave and gave. But never, in all the years of in this township government, he and I have disagreed many times. But we've never fought with each other, have we? Mr. McAdoo, we ever fight with each other?
No.
Have we always agreed?
We had a little disagreement right off the go, but it was very short, then we knew what was going on.
But what we always did was what was in the interest of the Donald Township. You know, they make us out to be thieves. People I know in this room that call or name call us morons. I've never called anybody a moron in my life. And I see people sitting right here right now that's done that. Okay? Friends and neighbors.
You called me a liar.
Friends and neighbors. Well, JD, I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry about that. I've known you a long time.
You ever known
And
me
you
to
talk
be
about
lying?
Mike Smith? I've known Mike Smith even longer. Mike's even related to me.
Well, I take
Okay.
offense to that.
What?
You called me a liar.
Well, that's fine. We can take offense, you should. But it's time to get along, people.
You're right.
Let's get along.
And that's what I was
Let's get
trying
some
to
things
do.
done. Let's get some things done. We've got a lot of things going on in this community that's wonderful. But we got situations that keep happening over and over, and people nitpick and try to hurt people. My daughter, my 15-year-old, 16-year-old now, I was time like 16-year-old daughter says to me, "What's wrong? What's going on in this town?" She said that the other night. I almost brought her tonight. I said, "Megan, you need to come and see for yourself. I can't tell you." Here's a 16-year-old girl. I hear about kids on the school bus that some of the kids of people in our audience wanna fight with their kids over issues of the township. What in the world's going on? This is craziness.
I have something to say there. I'm not sure what you were referring to about, the minister offering prayers.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I kind of think that's a good idea.
Absolutely. And you know that there was a prayer meeting in this very room for a township meeting, maybe, I'm gonna say 6 or 8 months ago?
Well, there were prayers going up every day.
No, they came here and met in
But
here.
there are prayers going up every day for the
But
community.
we're
and for
not acting
community
like people that should get along.
But you had made that statement as though it was something negative.
No, absolutely not negative. No, absolutely not. You know, it's just time that let's move on with it.
Okay,
No, that's,
I have a different question. Can I move on?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking this. I was gonna ask the man that was here, that, I think it's Gordon, Mr. Gordon, that's doing these.
Gordon Taylor.
The violation things.
No, okay, Mark Gordon.
Yeah, Mark Gordon, yes. What exactly are his credentials? I've done a lot of coding. I spent my life doing coding, and you've gotta have a lot of credentials. And I was just curious, what are his, where did he get his training? I know he works for different municipalities.
He's a Pennsylvania State Constable who's I wanna say Act 42, I don't know if that's the right act or not.
Yeah.
Act 42 certified, which means he's gone to school to learn
Yeah.
to serve civil process and criminal process, make arrests
And to make measurements and give citations.
I don't know how much that is
I can answer
through
that for
formal
you.
training.
Okay,
Probably most of that comes through more of his experience. He's I think in 18 different municipalities.
well, you know what,
You
I
know,
have a
I don't
lot of
think I don't-
experience, but I was not allowed to do coding until I became certified. And I was
You're
just asking.
coding. You were a coding.
Coding for medical. for
Okay, that's a
everything.
different.
Public certification.
Yeah, that's probably
certification.
it's a lot different.
There's
Public
no-
certification.
Probably a lot more
is still
a lot more
certification.
complicated.
There isn't any state certification requirement for code enforcement.
No, because
However, Mark Gordon is certified as a code, I forget what it's, he took classes and has several certifications from entities that give this code.
you may even have some municipalities where he works other places.
Yeah, he's in about 4 or 5 with
Yeah,
these.
he's in 18 different municipalities. He came to us. Ethan Ward highly recommended him to us.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just was asking.
and
He's
he,
good, he's very well trained. He
And he
actually just
has-
last year finished.
if you were here when he presented himself at the meeting, that's the first time I've had the opportunity, other than when we interviewed him.
Yeah.
That's the first opportunity that I've had to hear him present himself, and he presented himself
Okay.
professionally.
Well, thank you. I
You know,
was just asking.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
I wasn't done.
Go ahead, JD.
Sorry.
That's okay. My point is, Doug, or all you guys, I have tried to work with you. I have tried to conduct myself in a professional manner. And sometimes you make it very difficult, like at the last meeting, when things escalate a little bit, that I was talking and you kept interrupting me. And I do ask questions, and I would like answers. I don't put it in a form, that's how you give and take and work together. I agree, this is going on way too long. And several members of the township warned you a year and a half ago that this was going to go on. It's in your control. You guys are supposed to represent the residents of Donegal Township. We can't do it from this side of the table. We can make suggestions, we can ask questions, and we can tell you what the problem and issue is, what's going on wrong, but if you don't change how you're doing things, and you continue to do things the way you do and not follow law or not conduct yourselves in a proper manner, and just basically throw it back in people's faces and we don't care, this is the way it is, that's the answer you're gonna get, whether that was what you asked or not, or interrupting, or, we don't have to answer you. That's not how you work together with the people. There's what, 3,000 people in the township? There's 3 of you that represent 3,000? You know what I mean? You should do it to the best of your ability. And your reasoning was, my question was, how you came to the conclusion.
I'll give you that answer, JD, I'm not changing
You
the
have
answer.
not.
I'm saying,
when did
I've
you
answered it the way,
decide it?
it was noted, I made my decision for myself. These guys made their decisions for themselves.
And do you think that that's in the best interest of Doyle Township for you to be on the board versus Mike Smith? Do you believe that?
I don't, not any different than anybody else. I think I've been on the planning commission before, it's not the first time, and it comes as a recommendation, okay? Any solicitor, most solicitors will tell you it's a good idea to have a supervisor on a planning commission. I don't know whether this guy will or not, but most of them will. And we've always had, Mr. Fiddler, how long did you serve on the planning commission here?
Too many years.
A lot of years. Never was an issue, was it?
But,
No, Mr.
Okay.
Stout, then after that, Mr. Stout sat on there for a while,
right,
no issue. It makes good coordination, I mean, we didn't always have the planning commission come to these meetings, like Lee's been coming, it's not always been the case.
you're missing the whole point.
No, I feel that I was as qualified as anyone else to be on that board. I don't wanna be on that board, I don't want on there. But
You could have declined.
But you can't have meetings where people, you don't have a quorum, you have to be able to have a quorum. And I don't think there should be a 7-member board, I'm against that, I think it's too big for a township our size for a planning commission. But that's what the ordinance said a long time ago. But it was always 5 members, we never had 7.
Okay, but you're missing my whole point. Your reasoning, what you stated
I'm
at
not
that
changing
meeting.
you want me to change my answer, JD, I'm not
No.
doing it.
You're not answering the question.
Well,
Your reasoning
You
that
can just go
night
ahead and
for
talk about it.
declining Mike Smith and Ed Shingle, your reasoning was because they were candidates for supervisor.
That
and you
hasn't changed.
didn't think that was right.
I didn't wanna choose one over the other, and I chose not to either one of them.
Well, that's being a hypocrite.
Well, that may be hypocrite, but that's what happened. That's what happened, that's it.
Ed Crashore had his hand up, go ahead, Ed.
I don't have public comment, or, this is about roads.
Oh, okay.
Am I good to go, or do you wanna go?
Well, just hold on a minute. Bob, you have something else?
Yes, I do.
Good.
I have a comment. Last week, was only last week, I believe, that happened about going, the comments that was made back and forth about having the meeting this week. I let it go. I really did. Went home and thought about it, and I thought, I'm not going to. But whenever I said something about, aren't we supposed to have public comment on non-agenda items before you went to executive session, you sloughed me off, you didn't make anything, it was just like, I kinda took it that, well, we'll show him, we'll do it the way we wanted to. Well, you did. And all the things, and I had all that time that you were back there working to think about what I was going to say. So I stand behind what I said, that you and Dave discussed this. Tammy
Bob,
didn't
we
have
did not
anything to do
discuss
with
it. We did not
Hey,
discuss it,
Don't
Bob.
say a
No.
word. I am,
Let him run on.
no, I'm not running on, I'm
You are.
just saying,
What did you just do, Doug? We let you speak.
Go ahead, talk to
Dave
Dave.
said that he
No.
wasn't gonna, Dave shut me down, said you weren't gonna say anything, but then you interrupt Bob.
If you wanna comment, go ahead and comment, or we're gonna adjourn.
I'll continue the comments. You know, this started year and a half ago with the zoning. That was a farce, and you know it. And when I get told that, well, you guys are just gonna have to suck it up, well, that doesn't work very well for me. So, if you wanna know why all this started and me talking tonight, it was because of what you did. Because of your arrogance in saying, well, we'll go to executive session and then we'll come back. It wasn't because, I was again gonna let it go. But you have to poke. You have to poke a little bit. Well, you know what? You're gonna get poked back. It's human nature. I wish it was better than that, but I'm not. That's it. Thank you.
Would it,
JD, Ed's gonna go, he hasn't gone yet.
that's fine.
I'm still on the roads,
Go ahead.
okay, previous meeting, you wanted me to get some numbers for you on the roads.
Yep.
Yep.
Our tarn and chipping for the roads that we picked, West Delhi, the streets up in Claysville, Waynesburg, out to Shepherd. Gonna be about $71,691. Stone, oil, and equipment.
71,000 what?
$71,691. Reprofiling Ely Road is $71,489.16. Completed, finished job. And that leaves you, we had 200,000 in liquid fuels to start out with, that leaves you 56,820 in liquid fuels. One other thing on that, building, you said that, if the solicitor or whoever decides that
See
they
if we
wanna
can adjust
rebid it, can you guys make a motion that if that is the case, to go ahead and advertise? If not, that's gonna put us into June and then July before the bids can be open, unless you do a special meeting or something. And, just do it tonight and then you're set to go. That's all I have, thank you.
On, that reprofiling, once that's done, Ely will still have to be tarred and chipped every year after that,
Not
Correct?
every year.
Not every year?
Every other year,
every other year.
yeah.
Well, LPC.
Because they're putting they're gonna grind that and put emulsion oil in it. When they're grinding, they'll add oil into the grinding. That'll all be compacted, graded and compacted. They will put an E1 prime on top of that, and that'll take a coat of stone. And then they'll put 2 coats of our regular tar and chip on top of that, and then that'll be finished.
Okay, and I did call Nathan Voitek on Friday. We're not up for any kind of grants, block grants, for 4 years,
Okay.
so. The loop, I guess, is this year,
Yeah,
came out of that.
Yep.
Yeah, 4 years, we're up for it again. So,
did he say whether that covered, the reprofiling of roads, or if it was just for paving?
he didn't say, but he said we'd have to meet certain criteria like
Okay.
income
Okay,
and that.
all right, thank you.
JD, you got anything else?
Yep, 2 things. You said about the prayer earlier, Doug, and I've told you guys this before, and I'll tell you again because it still holds true. I pray for you guys every morning.
We need it.
I do. You know what I pray for? That you guys will come to your senses and start doing things the right way and run this township how it should be run. For the people, by the people, of the people, the way you should run it. For the best interest of Donegal Township as a whole, not personal agendas or personal vendettas. Secondly, is you have the Pledge of Allegiance on this agenda. We've been here quite a while. You spoke, I spoke, everybody spoke, you guys had an executive session. I don't think it would hurt to take 30 seconds and do the Pledge of Allegiance every time.
It's been past practice of our board for many, many years. In fact,
And practice, past
and
practice.
you know where the Pledge of Allegiance started of these meetings? Did anybody remember? Mr. McAdoo, were you there? Do you remember? I made the motion for us to do it. We never did it before,
Great,
okay?
I commend you for that.
And
So why
we,
do we do it
and
tonight?
we don't do it on continued session.
Why not?
Because this is the same meeting as the last meeting. That's why.
Doesn't make it wrong.
That's the reason we do it.
I think,
That doesn't make it wrong, but that's why it is. You wanted the answer?
I don't think anybody would have
Okay.
a problem with doing a Pledge of Allegiance at a continued meeting.
If it's okay, I'm gonna make a motion dealing with, granting the board the authority to re-advertise, should it be necessary after talking with the solicitor and the engineer of the building project,
And the contractor.
and the contractor.
Second. Any questions?
You got that, Amy?
Yes.
I would,
We got to vote on it yet.
We could, public comment on it.
no, I just, when you said, I had a question, just a suggestion. Yes, you're gonna talk to solicitor and engineer, but you probably ought to, like I suggested, talk to the contractor and see what they say, agree or disagree first. Then, it's not gonna cost you anything to talk to them, it'll cost you to talk to the engineer and the solicitor. Just suggestion. Just a comment.
We got to vote on it yet.
How do you vote? Dave?
Yes.
Doug?
Yeah.
Zach?
Yes.
Second motion, motion deal to send a letter from the Township Board of Supervisors to the City of Wheeling Water Department in regards to an incident which took place there on I believe it was Thursday, May 11th, 2017, in which Donegal Township residents showed up there to gather information, and the City of Wheeling Water Department believed them to be elected or appointed officials of Donegal Township. We encourage the City of Wheeling Water Department to file a complaint with the City of Wheeling Police Department and express our concerns.
There's a good use of time, Bruce.
Done all that?
Doug,
Yeah.
you done? Second.
Any questions? JD?
File a complaint based on what?
Based on information provided to us by the City of Wheeling Water Department when they phoned us.
Which is?
That, exactly what I said, there were residents of Donegal Township that were there that either purposely or unpurposely, one or the other, it was either an error or a mistake or on purpose. They led the water department people to believe they were officials from Donegal Township.
Did they make that statement?
We'll get the statement from them directly.
I don't know where the chief went, but
We, I don't know where it went either, but it's not gonna be a Donegal Township matter.
no, what I'm saying is, I think he would be a good one to chime in on this if you're recommending, you as a board.
He was in the room with us when we had this discussion.
Okay, just saying,
Where's he at? John, do you wanna,
if
Yeah,
you,
if something did occur, it didn't occur in this jurisdiction. It occurred in their jurisdiction. And if there's a concern, then that would be the appropriate venue.
no, I totally understand that.
and did you advise us to, if we had concerns, to express that to them?
Sure.
So let me get this straight. You want the police to stop somebody from getting information
No,
from
sir.
the authority?
No, we want them to make sure that when people get information, that they do not do so as